So what is coping with stress during criminal prosecution? Coping with stress during criminal prosecution is a protocol for you or your loved ones, and preferably both, to follow from day one of representation. Here's what happens. If you were to take a brain imaging of someone before an arrest and after arrest, you would see two very different pictures, because just the trauma of an arrest is enough to cause the brain to be seriously affected. You can literally see it on brain imaging. And this is important because you don't want to blow your life up. So the first thing we do is, when someone contacts our office, we immediately send an email that's going to arrive in 24 to 36 hours based on how fast the automated system is. And what it contains, in addition to text, is a link to a free book. And it's an ebook. So basically, you'll click the link, you'll go to tonyrobbins.com, and you'll put some information in there, because they're going to want your name and your email. And I don't care if you give them a fake name and use a dump email, but either way, get that link, download it into your device, and everybody in your family who's affected by this case needs to download this book into their mobile device. Why? Well, it's a technique that I've used since before law school. In law school, you have to, before you even get there, take a test called the LSAT, the Legal Scholastic Aptitude Test. And then after you go through law school, you take the bar exam. And then if you want to become a specialist, you take an exam that's so hard it has just the opposite stats of what the bar has. About 90% of the people are going to pass the bar. About 90% of the people who try to become certified specialists in criminal law are going to fail. So how did I pass all these things? Frequency is more important than duration. In other words, you take your phone out of your pocket or purse, you pop it open, you read for 2 or 3 minutes, you close it. It'll save where you are, whether you've got an Apple iPhone or you have an Android device. You put it back in your pocket and purse, and then later on, several times a day, you pop it open, it's going to go back to where you left off, you read for 2 or 3 minutes. Frequency is more important than duration. This will immediately begin calming your system down. You'll calm your brain down, and it will reduce the likelihood of making life-altering mistakes and stepping on one of those landmines in the minefield of Florida criminal law. We're going to follow that up with a list of books that you should either buy in hardback, paperback, or digital form, and you should read a few minutes several times a day, the entire length of your case. They're all personal development books. Feel free to pick and choose among them whichever one you think will have the most meaning for you. But again, you want to be reading during the entire course of representation. Additionally, you also want to be listening to audios. Now, you can buy the audios and you can run them through your mobile device into your vehicle, and then suddenly you have a rolling university on wheels. Or you can buy CDs, I guess, they're still around, or whatever format works for you. And then finally, you can also use YouTube for the authors of these audio programs and videos, and the power of that is YouTube is free. I use an application where I can scroll through YouTube, select a series of different authors that I particularly like, and they're doing speaking engagements, and lo and behold, I've got free content to listen to. To give you an idea of how important this is, I consider that a lawyer should always be a technical 10 when they go to the courtroom. That's critically important. What's just as important is to be an emotional 10, and I can give you this example to explain it. If your dog dies the morning of court, emotionally, are you a 1 or are you a 10? You know the answer. And this is why you need to read, this is why you need to listen, this is why you need to watch, and you need to do this the entire course of representation, or what will happen is the state attorney's dream. You'll argue with your lawyer, you'll want to have a lot of unproductive meetings where you're hand-wringing and stressing and freaking out, and oh, by the way, the time spent in that office chat may be good for lawyer and law firm marketing, but you know what it's not good for? Productivity. I have lawyers all the time who will tell me, Steve, I'm so busy. And I'm not trying to be snarky, but I ask a very what I think is a very discerning question someone once asked me. And that question was, are you busy or are you productive? Because in my head, I confused the two. I thought if I was busy, it was necessarily productive. It's not. And so you want your lawyer and you want your entire legal team focused on the few things that matter and make all the difference in the world. And some of those things that might make a difference include how you're dressed when you go to court and also how you think and feel. And how you think and feel and how you dress are critical components, believe it or not. As science says it is, they're critical components to success, to a favorable outcome in your case or that of someone you love.